Good afternoon, YouTube viewers and subscribers. So today's run is of a newly acquired, fairly new, maybe one run, OS Alpha 56 engine. This is a Series 1 engine that came out in 2007. This will be the first time I've run it. I did a look inside video of this because I was curious about a few things. I've got an APC 12.6 prop installed, a used OS-F glow plug, not the plug that came with the engine, that was not an OS plug, even though it looked like it was in a little bit newer, better shape. And I've also got some Morgan's 5% Omega here. I did not add additional caster. This is a 17% oil. I think the OS manual says 18%. Really not sure what 1% is going to do on one run. So let's fire this thing up and see how it does. Like I said, this has at least one run on it already, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do more or less a break-in run or what, but we'll take it from there and see. Prime it. Okay, so that was a decent first run. One thing I had a little bit of an issue with was my fuel line here is a little short, so I had my tank angled, and I probably could have just slid the whole engine over a little bit. And I didn't have my wire tied that keeps my tank from sliding back, so I was kind of fighting that. However, despite that, and then of course the fuel line came completely off the tank, and I managed to get it reconnected before the engine actually died. Despite that, the engine seemed like it ran okay, but I had put a little bit of Marvel mystery oil inside the cam area, and I'm not talking a lot at all, I mean a little bit, just to lube things up. And I don't know, this is the first time I've run the engine. It just seemed kind of sluggish. There were times when I'd put the glow igniter on there and it'd really pick up RPM. That does not seem indicative of a new engine, of a break-in issue. That just seems like maybe, in my opinion, it isn't really breathing like it needs to. That OS plug that I've got in there is not a super old plug, so it should be more than adequate, but to me it almost seems like maybe it really does need that vent in there, even in this upright configuration. I have ordered some breather nipples that are due to arrive early next week, so before I do any more runs with this engine, I think I am going to go ahead and put a vent on there and not change anything else other than take that back rear cover off and put a vent on there and see if that improves the way this engine operates at mid-range and the transition. Now, as you noticed, I did not do any kind of low speed adjustments at all. It idled fine at the setting that the low speed needle is now. The transition did not seem to really be there. It seemed really rich, but then the one time I had the igniter on there and advanced the throttle, it didn't seem as bad. So maybe, just maybe, that plug is just getting flooded out by too much oil. I don't know. I was a little hesitant to lean the high-speed needle because it seemed very erratic, and sometimes it would only be running 8,000 and it would jump up to 10,000. I don't know. That was a rather strange run in my opinion. The engine obviously hand started nicely. It's got a nice pleasant tone to it. It doesn't, you know, it's not obnoxious. So those are pluses, but I do think that I'm going to add the vent to this engine before I do any more runs, just because I really think it needs to breathe more. So anyway, thank you for watching.